All right. Welcome everyone for another exciting Alumni Spotlight. I'm very lucky to be able to interview Shreyas today. Shreyas, please introduce yourself.
All right, thank you for having me here, Martine. My name is Shreyas Khandekar, and I'm from the class of 2023. I have a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science and a BSBA in MIS from the University of Arizona. Currently, I'm working with Hewlett Packard Enterprise, and I'm in Sweet California.
Awesome. I hope it's nice and cool in California, and I'm excited that you're working with HP. So tell us a little bit about your experience here at the University of Arizona. Specifically, what did you enjoy the most while you were here?
Oh, well, I've thoroughly enjoyed my experience at the University of Arizona, especially, because of the professors I feel like I've really lucked out with, professors like Mihai Sturdianu, Melanie Lotz, and then, just Eric Anson is just the best. People who've really encouraged students in their class to sort of, come together and solve things. For example, like in many of Anson's classes with students in the class, we've come together outside class and sort of brainstormed and solved homework problems together. And that was encouraged for us sort of do that. And in that time we were solving not just solving problems, we were like, cracking jokes, having fun. We were thinking of other ways to use our solutions for like other problems, things like that. So it was a really, fun and collaborative environment. And those sort of experiences that were outside the classroom, but when they were facilitated by people inside the classroom was really the most fulfilling part of my experience.
Sounds like a great way to build some long-lasting relationships with some folks,
Yep.
and I'm glad that you had that opportunity. So tell us, what's one of your favorite memories while you were here at the university?
Well, that's a good one. I think the most fun I've had was my time as a CS buddy mentor and interacting with my mentees and other mentors and their mentees and having, conversations about what sort of things that I did when I was like a junior or sophomore or even a freshman that helped me be prepared to, sort of set myself up for success later on, and then, sort of passing that on to the people who are also pursuing CS degrees. And I think one of the favorite things that we did was sort of set up this class info session, which was very informal. All of us mentors came together and talked about our experiences with different professors, with different classes, and the mentees had a lot of fun. We had pizza, we had a bunch of questions, and I think that was we had, like, we played games, we had a Switch, we had, throw burrito. It was a total blast. It was the best.
It's always fun to be able to play games with somebody and see them in a different way, right? You get to see the burritos flying, somebody throwing a burrito at one another. So
Yeah,
it's
people
great.
just dodging. It's like, no, you can't get me.
Yes, yes. So you mentioned that you are working for HP. Tell us about your current position there, and what do you enjoy about working in your position?
Sure. So currently, as you said, I'm working with HPE, that's Hewlett Packard Enterprise, and I'm working for a team developing a new programming language called Chapel. So, and this is sort of like uh, a non-typical role, sort of developing a new programming language. So let me tell you a little bit of background about what Chapel is. So Chapel is being developed at Hewlett Packard Enterprise, and it's primarily a modern parallel programming language that's designed for speed, scalability, and performance. So one of the core strengths of Chapel is that it has like easy syntax, Python-like syntax, that gets you great performance that you can run on your laptop, and then you can run on your supercomputer without changing any code at all. And it's one of the languages that we run on Frontier, which is currently the fastest known supercomputer in the world. So, really cool and exciting stuff. Um,
That's really awesome. That
yep.
sounds like a really great time. So it's you and a team, and it sounds like you've learned some skills while you're here. You've developed some collaboration. You kind of mentioned that earlier when you were talking about outside the class, that kind of activity. So it sounds like all those skills were applicable. It's wonderful to hear that you're
Oh, yeah.
having a great impact. And it sounds like the impact that you're having with this language will go beyond HP and will go on and help a lot of industry.
Oh, yeah. I think that the concepts of parallelism, data parallelism, task parallelisms, excuse me, were are sort of like daunting and challenging, and like they really were to me as a student, sort of like how do you run these programs in parallel? And Chapel as a language just makes those things really accessible, and it's really easy to program a parallel algorithm in Chapel. You know, use GPUs, use multiple compute nodes, things like that, and it's made really accessible and really easy that anyone could do it.
That's wonderful. That's really, really great. I'm excited for you, Shreyas. Now that you've completed, you've completed the program here at the U of A, you've done 2 degrees. You are at HPE doing something amazing. Students that may be watching this would want to know, well, how did you do it? What advice would you give me? Because I'm pursuing computer science, I'm just starting, but what would you suggest?
Oh, sure. I think one of the best pieces of advice is to really, really dive into the foundation coursework for computer science, because those basics with syntax, algorithms, data structures, they're just non-negotiable. You need to be comfortable with those, and that's going to set you up for success in your electives, things like that. And there are a lot of electives to choose from, and when you're comfortable with the basics, you really get the confidence to go out and explore things that you're interested in. um, and that allows you to sort of nurture your curiosity to like, oh, this is like sounding like an interesting class. Let me read the description. Let me ask the professor what they do. And maybe if you weren't comfortable with the basics so much, you wouldn't sort of go out on a limb there and do that. But um, just sort of doing that allows you to sort of expand your horizons, learn more, and also interact more with people. Secondly, I'd say that uh, building a network, whether it be with professors, with peers, with faculty, staff, anyone really, it's really important. I think sort of fostering that sense of belonging and community goes hand in hand with building a network. Most people think about that like professionally building a network, but I feel like just building a support system is also really, really important. And just starting out in college, you might not have that already. Because you might be in a completely new place, new people, new faces, new environment. Like me, you might be like halfway across the globe. So it's really important to find that support system when you get to a new place, and it's really easy to do that. I feel like people like you, Martine, Arthur, the rest of the staff, the professors, the professional development center, they all make it really really easy for us to sort of find our place, to grow, and to really know the things that we need to know in order to do our best. So
Yeah,
I'd suggest everyone to really cash in on all those opportunities and things that are available to you.
yeah, it sounds like you took advantage of all of the things that were available to you and you used it as a learning opportunity. And that's wonderful, Shreyas. That's
Oh,
great.
definitely, definitely. Oh, you know what? One thing that I would like to add to that is that sometimes, at least I was guilty of this, is sometimes people try to like do all those things, and maybe you don't have to do everything. You have to sort of take care of your well-being, being balancing those academics projects, as well as your personal life. That's really crucial. You don't want to push yourself too far. Don't go at sort of like an unsustainable pace, because burnout is definitely a real problem, and you don't want to put yourself through that.
Very true. Finding that balance is a learning process as well.
Hmm.
So is there anything else you want others that are watching this spotlight to know? Maybe something that you want to share?
Sure. I think first of all, I'd like to like express my gratitude to all the people that have helped me. I mentioned you, Arthur. You're fantastic people, and you're really helpful and you're really great at what you do. I think that the University of Arizona, the computer science department specifically, has provided me with the tools and the resources to be able to go out and succeed in my career. And with those, just the academics, the support, it's not just sort of challenged me in sort of like a theoretical way. It's also allowed sort of my brain to expand a little bit, to think about stuff in a more sort of abstract and like open-minded fashion. And that's really important when you're sort of going into industry, starting a new career, to be open-minded, to keep your eyes open and on the horizon. So that's it's just I'm really grateful for that, and it was a great experience being at the U of A.
That's wonderful, Shreyas. And wanted to ask you about something that you had mentioned a little while ago before our interview. You had mentioned that you liked classes so much that you actually sat for a final that you weren't even
Oh yeah.
actually in. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, so this was a class that Professor John Macerda was teaching, and it was a class that I'd previously taken, and I've trolled Professor Macerda a few times, and I feel like this was one of my best ones where I took the midterm for one of his classes, and I wasn't enrolled in that class, and the name that I wrote on the paper, it was an in-person exam. Obviously, I snuck in, took like a exam sheet, and I wrote the name was Fake Macerda. It, yeah, it was a recurring gag. I'd used the pseudonym Fake Macerda the previous semester and the one before that as well. And he was like always super confused as to what's going on. And one of the TAs in that class was actually my friend, and he told me that he saw this paper that said Fake Macerda, and he was so confused, like, what is this paper? Is this like the answer key? What is going on here? Who wrote fake Mr. on their paper? Because no student would do that, right? And that's exactly what Mr. reaction was. That some of my friends who were enrolled in that class told me later. It's like he was like, "Who would do this? What? Why would someone do this?" I was like, "Yeah, that's exactly the sort of reaction I wanted." And then afterwards, you had to show your CAD card before sitting for a fight, so that more people didn't sneak in. So yeah, I caused a little policy change for his class as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say you were a trendsetter. You caused a change in things. That's funny. That's a great story, Shreyas. All right. Well, thank you again for taking the time to share your experience and telling us about what it is you're doing now.
Yeah, the pleasure was
Wish
all
you
mine.
continued success and I hope you have a great rest of your day, Shreyas. Thank you.
Thank you, Martine. Bye bye.